channel. I'm Liam. Round 21 is either a buy round for you if you won your qualifying final, if you lost your qualifying final, your important trades this week, if you won your elimination final, also still in the running for your league glory. Hopefully I can give you some decent picks for this coming round. It's like I normally do, starting off with these rookies, a couple to look at. Probably one of the most traded in players this week. Maybe probably second most traded in forward would be Honey. Scored a solid 58. Played a nice little role. Will stay in the team. Carlton winning. Didn't mind how he scored, and midfields have been a little bit hard to come by in the recent weeks. So he's a solid forward option if you need a forward rookie. 190, probably not needed for cash generation. It could be a solid backup. If anything in your team goes astray, Eddie Ford, I don't believe, has the best job security with Zerha possibly coming back this week. So Honey certainly gets the gig with that one. Ginnivan, his role in the forward pocket is not going to give him much scoring value. But probably the number one most traded in, if he keeps his spot, will be Peatling. Giants do love to chip it around in that back line, and he certainly got a part of it. It was hot early and finished with 82. Defender mid, handy DPP, handy cover. Definitely wouldn't play him on field, but might make 30 odd K next week. Or if he scores 80 again, probably 45, 50, possibly another 50, and then you can trade him utilising that. But cash is pretty much irrelevant at this moment. If you've got enough bench cover, you can nearly even go down to 170k DPP player if you need the cash to get to someone decent. It's the difference. If you can get to Jack Steele going 170 compared to someone else, certainly do that sort of thing. If you want a pod at about 300, Trey Rusco's got a completely different role now in the Collingwood defence, who also love, I probably would say more than GWS, love possession football. Racked it up last week. Probably wouldn't get the same. West Coast were just abysmal. But if you want to have a pod pick, maybe a loophole opportunity in your forward line, if possible, Rusco is a very, very unique pick that I don't see anyone going. But if you want to differentiate yourself in the league, you're struggling to possibly get to a premium forward, he could be a thing to glory. But there's so many other better options, certainly, if you're wanting for cash generation, that is, in the Honey or Peatling areas. I wouldn't touch anyone else at all. Neither in this bracket. You don't target mid prices at this start of the season. If you are slapped for cash, Schallenberg was all right last week, 70. Probably was unders what people were expecting of him, but he still had that role. It's still at 550, not the worst pick. Like Collingwood's backline, John Noble's getting into it, like a few of the other Collingwood defenders, but just a little wary. West Coast were pretty bad. Silvani's scores inflated with with him playing majority in the ruck. I don't think he plays that much time in the ruck, so I don't just be ignorant of that. There isn't really, I would say, many good options in this. A couple of underprices, but certainly wouldn't want to touch any of these. Certainly much better options in the higher price brackets. Let's go start with defenders. Whitfield is probably still very a good pick to bring in. 80 probably deviates you off a little bit, but he was playing Port, probably one of the toughest teams to score against. So still got to 80. He's under 700k, absolute bargain. Ignore his last three. His average is still 97. That's with an injury-affected game. He can score and can win you a final. Jake Lloyd is also a solid option. Very, very consistent. He might not win you, but he might not cost you a league win. Jordan Dawson's always finished the year strong. I've been backing him the last few weeks, and he's done all right. And Tommy Stewart's been pretty consistent as of late. He's in that 700k price bracket, but seems to getting amongst the points. Let's continue on with defenders. As I said, Stewart is a solid option, probably the best option out of these. Jack Crisp, great role. As I said, Collingwood love possession football, and he's probably nearly their best disposal user in their team. So they want the ball in his hands a lot. So he's 112 in his last three. 125 was brilliant last week. It's a solid alternative if you can't get to a Mills or a Laird, who are probably the best two defenders. He's probably number 3 on this list. So solid option if you need a defender and don't have stacks of cash. Look at some cheaper forward options. Probably two. I missed him in the 500k. Oh no, he's now in the 600k bracket. But Rowan Marshall, 139 last week was very, very good. Bring him in last week. He has gone up 50k, but still undervalued. I don't see him probably going 139. He did play a whole ruck game against Jack Silvani, so probably had 20 or 30 more hitouts than he would usually have. But ruck forward, very handy, especially cover if something goes awry in the rucks. You can bring him in as a ruck or as a forward. People discussing him or side bottom. I know side bottom's gone a little bit more into the midfield with Pendlebury back, but they just played West Coast. He had all Collingwood players had a field day, so I just feel like he'll burn you much more easier than a Marshall. We've seen some of side bottom. He's had a couple of absolute shockers in the last few weeks. He can easily do that. Have a little niggle, and then that score is an absolute shocker. I would probably Matt Kennedy played a pretty solid role. He's been up and down as of late, so I don't expect him to score well this week. And Langford's after his injury riddled down. He's at 660, so scored a solid 95 last week. Danger had a bit of a disaster. Darcy couldn't get to his heights of previous years. Dunkley didn't even have a tackle his first time ever. The first time for a long time. He's going to be very juicy next year. Zorko, amazing performance, but he had a few shockers in the last couple of weeks, but is slightly underpriced at 790. Kelly is underpriced at 760, and De Goey is pretty much value at 740. And Hall's just an absolute gun if you haven't got him, and you get to him, do that. Looking at some midfielders, I don't think you want to be targeting any of these. Joe Mira had a very good game. Chera had a good game. Bailey Smith's had a few good couple of weeks while Bontempelli's been a little bit down, so he's had a few more touches to go around out on that wing. So he's with a little easy draw. He's a solid option if you don't have much cash. Gaff still got to 100 in an absolute smashing. He's come back. He's 140k down in his starting price. I see him probably going 105, 110 for the rest of the year, and at under 700 as a pretty decent option. But you want to be targeting some of these big guys. Fiorini, he's been on the books the last few weeks, but he just keeps on performing. 119 again. even in a nearly 100-point loss, he just finds the ball. Who knows about his job security? Does he get in the game next week? He's very tempting to bring in at that price. 760 is still priced at 105, and he's got ceilings that can certainly win you finals. Guthrie's slightly back to form the last couple of weeks. A few more cheapies in the back line. Oliver hit form as well. Still under 800k, which is pretty handy option. Even Parrish is under 100, but he's burnt you in the last few weeks, but has a very good ceiling. So still under 800k. Don't look at past history. There's only 3 weeks to go, so if they score even a 160, could win you a league. This price bracket, it's been up and down as of late. A few people coming in, a few people coming out. Jack Steele's just been insane. I can't get to him, but if you've got him, that's been a very good pick for the year. Took Miller's also. Probably the underpriced player in this is Jared Lyon, so I think could match Steele and Miller in the last couple of weeks. He was just everywhere against Hawthorn. There's a lot of focus on Neil, a little bit on McCluggage, but Lyons just gets it done. And I feel like he's probably the value pick out of those if you're wanting a premium midfielder for the rest of the year. So that's my talk. I might have possibly missed a couple, but I'm pretty sure I've covered. Finlay Macrae, if you do need a rookie on the field, he's playing a lot more midfield minutes and can be a solid F6 or even a loop in the F7, F6 area. I won't be doing a preview this week, just a few. Just a bit busy as of late with uni coming back. My trades at this very moment is a downgrade of Bianco. He's done very well, but I can utilise his cash, upgrade Sharp, and at the moment it's going a little bit of a pod. Why not? I'm a bit far down. If he gets named, Fiorini will be coming into my side. So they will be my trades, most likely. I'll wait on teams. That could change in the last few days. Who knows with what the fixtures are going to happen, so who knows what my trades are going to be. But hopefully there's a Monday night game, so maybe next Tuesday I'll be giving my review for this coming round. So